I want to focus on one particular aspect of what is going on, and this is the difference between compassion, solidarity, and unconditional support for genocidal policies. Uh, the most important thing that comes out from the Western media coverage of the event is, to my mind, a misunderstanding how what might be sometimes be genuine solidarity with victims, in this case, the Israeli victims to begin with, in the morning of the 7th of October 2023, misunderstanding that that kind of solidarity and the way it is presented and the context in which it is presented, namely a show of solidarity or even compassion that was never shown towards the Palestinians when they were victims of Israeli criminal policies, is understood in Israel as a carte blanche and a license to exercise on the ground any criminal policy that they deem right at this particular morning. So when you don the House of Parliament or the Eiffel Tower with the colors of the Israeli flag, the message is read by both policymakers in Israel and the public opinion as a carte blanche, a total unconditional support for genocidal policies in Gaza. And the reason that there is this probably gap between what quite a few people in the Western media would have liked to convey and the way it is understood in Israel is the result of a very long history of Western media's misunderstanding at best or total disregard at worst for the Palestinian plight and the real intentions of Israel or the nature of Israel and the Zionist movement over the years. I think that the most important challenge one can offer at this very moment is to bring back the context in which the events in Saturday happened and the context in which one should understand the Israeli policies right now. And the context is what the Palestinians call rightly since what the Palestinians frame as the ongoing catastrophe or the ongoing Nakba, which began in 1948. So we have 75 years in which Israel, as a settler colonial state, is very loyal to a policy of the eliminatory policy of Palestine and the Palestinians. It takes various forms according to circumstances and in different historical junctures. But the basic aim of any settler colonial movement to have as much of the land of the indigenous people with as few of the indigenous people in it has basically not changed since the very inception of Zionism, as well as the Palestinian resistance to this ideology and vision. And if you take this into context, you can separate between your understanding of a particular event and the wider context in which to analyze the Palestinian resistance in all its forms, as well as the Israeli policies before the action in Saturday and after the action on Saturday. So at every given moment, I think we should counter any analysis in the mainstream media that tries to decontextualize the events of Saturday, that tries to take the high moral ground, even if some of us probably do not accept some of the actions that were taken by the Hamas on that Saturday. We should never be ignorant of the wider context of the Palestinian resistance, of which the political Islamic movements were always an organic part of it and will continue to be an organic part of it. And if we don't go to an analysis, even in a soundbite analysis in the media, to the source of the violence, And we take this like the Western media does, the high moral ground in a hypocritical and a double speak kind of way. Then the only message coming from the Western media to Israel is that you can continue with genocidal policies with and be immunized for any serious rebuke or condemnation. And I think that this is important because and with this I will end, if I understand correctly, the Israeli strategy in the next few days is not to go on a big onslaught in Gaza, but rather incremental occupation of the Gaza Strip, slice by slice, with typical Israeli war crimes that are on a much smaller scale than they are now, and within a very long period of time, which in many ways mesmerizes international public opinion and does not allow it to focus too much when the big dramatic events are being replaced by a policy that will continue probably for months. And this is when the Western media would be even less interested in what goes on and even less willing to take the wider context I was talking about into account. So finally, I would say we all should be alert. Israel is about to continue genocidal policies on the ground against Gaza and its people, and we unfortunately will not be able to rely on the Western media, mainstream media, to give us an accurate picture. Would not be able to use it to alert the world to the crimes committed on the ground, and we all should find other ways in order to influence an international regional intervention, which is the only way to stop the Israeli genocidal policy from materializing on the ground. Thank you.